We always say that cash is king, but may I submit to you a potentially different perspective where cash isn't king, but unconventional forms of capital, which arguably produce infinite opportunity, are. Where cash could dissipate at any moment in time, these forms of capital, these unconventional forms of capital, can basically ensure that we can get that cash back, and quicker, and forever. Can I submit that to you? Right, so I'm going to just discuss 3 forms of unconventional capital that are arguably more important than cash, where cash isn't king but capital is. And that may sound a bit confusing, but I'm going to break it down, because I'm not just referring to the capital that you think of, which is money. I am referring to different unconventional, underappreciated, overlooked forms of capital. And without further ado, let's just get into the tea. So, human capital. Human capital has its roots in neoliberalism, and I'd love to get into that theory because I really love studying neoliberal theory, but that's just a topic for another day. But that's where it has its roots. And essentially, human capital is just the economic value of a human being. What can this person, how can they contribute to the economy? A person's economic value increases based on the skills, the knowledge, the education that they possess, the qualifications that they have. So my question, what I would like to pose to you is, if the job was to go, if the business was to fail, if everything was to come down, what skills do you have that could get you back up to the point where you can start increasing your earning potential, or even just get a job, period? Life honestly be lifing, and if they make you redundant today, what do you have? What are you left with? What do you have under your belt, from your skills to your education to your qualifications? What different kinds of things do you have that will allow you to get up on your feet again when everything else falls? What do you as an individual possess that can make you essentially a productive member of society, that can contribute to the economy? That's essentially what human capital is. And for a very easy, plain Jane definition, human capital basically just means the economic value of a person in society. Needs of the economy to a side, building up your human capital is really important and is useful for you because it basically ensures, or it allows for, social mobility. It allows you basically to go up the ranks of the social stratification. It can take you from here up to here and then up there. You might have started out as working class, but the more skills you acquire, the more qualifications, the more education, the degrees, experience, etc. that you acquire, the higher up the ranks you go, and the more potential it is now for you to be middle class and work your way upwards from there. So the next form of unconventional capital that we should really be considering is social capital. I love this one. Your social capital is really all about your connections, your circle, the people that you know, the relationships that you build, you maintain, you establish. And this, I kind of see it as the networks that you have established are able to take you into rooms, to take you into spaces that your CV, that your background wouldn't necessarily allow you to enter, but because of the networks you've built around you, you are actually able to enter those spaces. Essentially, what we're looking at here are the connections that you've built, potentially in higher places, people that are in potentially higher positions of power than you, but it doesn't actually always have to be vertical. It can also be horizontal. People that are on the same level as you, but in different fields, in different sectors, and perhaps you want to migrate into those kinds of fields and different roles, and they can ensure that you have access into those spaces because they are in those fields. And also sometimes it can be vertical, where they are in higher positions of power than you, can be in your field, can also be outside of your field in different places. But again, the main thing here is that these connections allow you to enter spaces, allow you to enter, it could even be a conference, it can be a dinner, it can be whatever, but it gets you into places that typically your socioeconomic background, your CV wouldn't allow you to enter. And how you can build your social capital, what you'd be looking at is, as I said, building those connections. And I've done that several times, literally just on LinkedIn. I think honestly, you'd be surprised at the amount of people who are in far higher positions than you will respond to your message on LinkedIn and speak with you, have a coffee with you, join a Zoom call. I've had that several times. I've had managing directors just jump on a call with me. I'm like, what? Just by sending a LinkedIn message because I wanted to find out more about certain things that they were interested in and that they were like managing as partners. You'll be surprised. And these people looked nothing like me, completely opposite. of me. But I think just being brave, putting yourself out there, like messaging them, obviously stroking their ego as well and telling, you know, just showing that you're interested in their work and you've done your research does help. But essentially I have, like, my family know, my mum and my sister know, I have spoken to people in such like higher positions of power than me because of LinkedIn, because of being, would I even call it brave? I don't know. I'm just very persistent. I think that's what it is. And if I need to speak to someone in a certain organization, in a certain company, in a certain whatever, in a certain level of power, I will find my way in. I will find myself in there. And yeah, building these connections, and there's one thing of making a connection. There's another thing of maintaining it. And I think that's just a whole different ball game. But yeah, that's one way you can do it. You can do it by going on LinkedIn. You can also do it by attending networking events that are tailored for a certain field, or it could be maybe you're interested in crypto. So you go to some crypto networking events to meet like-minded people, and the people that you want to meet will probably be there. And as I said, it doesn't always have to be like vertical, it can be horizontal as well. It can be people on your level that are just in different sectors or different companies or whatever it is. I think another top tip is visiting and immersing yourself in the places that you know that caliber of people will be in. And the main thing here is that the more you hang around these people, the easier it then becomes for you to assimilate into these communities, into these cultures. So this is all about assimilation. Cultural capital. Basically, cultural capital refers to the values, the languages, the skill set, the tastes and abilities of a different class, of the middle class. And basically, the goal here is to try and emulate that. So for example, under cultural capital, it discusses different languages, right? Knowledge of different languages. Let's take someone who can speak French, German and English versus someone that can speak just English. The person who speaks these 3 different languages, English, German and French, is able to navigate the world a lot easier because they have the advantage of speaking different languages. They have a higher likelihood of becoming global citizens. They're able to work for like multinational companies where the command of these different languages is required. They're able to, if they wanted to enter different francophone countries and just navigate the cultures a lot better and a lot easier. They might be able to go and invest in these countries because they have a working knowledge of the languages. They might be able to, I don't know, close business deals. They just have a lot more advantages because they're able to speak different languages, especially when you compare that to someone who can only speak one language. So this is what cultural capital is about. It allows you to navigate different cultures. It allows you to arguably also assimilate into different cultures quite well. But the way I see it is that you're just able to navigate the world in I think a more advantageous way. And our world is becoming more and more globalized as the day goes on. So I think in our ever increasing globalized world, I think it's just, yeah, you have a lot more advantages. You have this cultural capital that and no one can take this away from you. So when I'm thinking about cultural capital, I'm thinking about navigation. When I think about human capital, I'm thinking about social mobility. And then when I'm thinking about social capital, I'm thinking a lot about assimilation. If you're able to mobilize, to navigate and assimilate, not only will you find it really easy to enter and exist in different cultures and communities, but you'll find that you always have the upper hand when it comes to creating cash. If your human capital is up there and you've got like lots of skills, qualifications and education and lots of experience, coupled with under cultural capital, knowing lots of different languages, having similar values and tastes of the middle and upper classes, and then also that being backed by having a really healthy network of different people that are in different spaces, again, can be vertical or horizontal, I think you'll be on your merry way to making more money. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it and I hope it blessed you in the way that it needed to bless you. Bye. Can you see how happy I am? I actually love talking about this. I love this show. I actually grin. I actually love talking about this stuff.